Bahamas Limited became a VAT registrant and is mandated to charge and collect VAT on behalf of the government of the Bahamas. Effective January 1st, 2015, VAT will be added at a rate of 7.5% on all your rev services. As a result, VAT will be included on all your statements beginning January 2015, and you will be required to pay your bill in full inclusive of the VAT. To learn more about the inclusion of VAT on your rev services, visit cablebahamas.com/VAT.
Coming up tonight in news, an alleged murder witness is now a murder victim. The owner of the largest food store chain talks taxes, how Atlantis plans on maximizing benefits outlined in the new gaming laws, plus a graduate of shock treatment offered an opportunity of a lifetime. I'm Paige McCartney, and we've got those stories and more straight ahead on MB12 Weekend. Welcome once again to MB12. The cries of grieving relatives echoed through the Kemp community this morning as homicide detectives investigated the country's latest murder. Police believe a man and a woman were targeted by gunmen who barged onto their property in the Kemp Road area and opened fire, killing the man and injuring the woman. According to officer in charge of the Central Detective Unit, Chief Superintendent Paul Roll, police got the call at around 8 a.m. after there were reports of gunshots in the White's Addition area.
Officers responded to the scene where they met a male suffering from apparent gunshot injury to the abdomen. EMS also responded to the scene where they examined this male and reported him lifeless. Shortly afterwards, a female showed up at Accident Emergency section suffering from multiple gunshots about the body. The preliminary information is that the male and female were at the rear of their yard cleaning up when two persons entered and began discharging shots at them. The male ran.
Roll said the culprits escaped in a white self-drive vehicle. Family members identified the victim as 33-year-old James Capron. They said he was a family man who loved the 3 children he left behind.
Not a problematic person. He was loved by all those who were around him, and it's quite unfortunate that we wake up to this sort of news this morning.
The victim's uncle, Ivan Thompson, said he believes his nephew was targeted because he claimed he was a witness to another murder that occurred in November last year.
Well, we believe that it stems from another incident that happened that persons felt that he might have been a witness to. And from that incident happened, he was basically running. He phoned me every day and he was telling me about these situations. And it is so unfortunate that persons maybe who can assist the police in solving crimes are fearful of coming forward because they fear for their life. And unfortunately, sometimes this is the end result.
The family is calling for a better system of witness protection so that those who want to help police in their investigations can do so without fearing for their lives. In the meantime, police called for those with information on this latest killing to contact them anonymously at 328-TIPS. Well, since the implementation of value-added tax on January 1st, price control officials have visited supermarkets across the island. SuperValue owner Rupert Roberts says, though, the hype created by price control has produced unnecessary drama for business owners and customers. Jasmine Brown reports.
Roberts was once one of the biggest critics of value-added tax, insisting it was not good for the Bahamas. But now that it's been implemented, he insists it's not the tax that's the problem, it's the noise in the marketplace.
The VAT baby is born, but let's keep the VAT baby healthy. Right now there's too much noise in the market. The baby can't stand the noise. I'd like to see them it's the government. The Prime Minister has to ramp that down. the baby was born on a silent night, but it's just too loud, too much noise. It's interfering with going forward.
At first a strong opponent of VAT, Roberts now says the process is going smoothly with no layoffs and only minor glitches in the system.
We all resisted the system. We were not resisting taxation. We were resisting the system. But after we knew that government was implementing it, we really stood behind it and we helped government put it across.
Roberts insisted there has simply been too much interference and called on the government to work with business owners, not against them.
It's going very well, and I'd like to see government work with us, but we're getting too much interference from and too much rhetoric and noise from the Prices Commission. It's unnecessary and we can't move forward.
Roberts was not the only one speaking out. Earlier this week, Nassau Motor Company Limited Director and Operations Manager Rick Lowe urged the government to stop demonizing businesses amid recent accusations of widespread price gouging. Lowe told our news team he fears price control is being used as a political tool. Some have argued that further protection measures are needed, in part because of the rising cost of essential goods following VAT implementation. For his part, Roberts insisted there was no price gouging at super value stores, saying pricing is done as fairly as possible through the company's financial software. Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, Chairman of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, Gowan Bowe, is calling for more formal transition period as businesses across the country continue to adjust to the VAT rollout.
As you go through it, you will learn, and then they can make more decisive rules and regulations that persons can then follow.
In the months leading up to the value-added tax implementation, the government's VAT office posted guidance notes online. Bowe says while that is a step in the right direction, he believes more clarity is needed.
Guidance notes are tremendous help, but they're not given the full weight of the law, and at times there still, I think, are some inconsistencies that people are picking up, and those aren't major inconsistencies, but when we go into a new system, there has to be patience, maturity, and the ability to work together, certainly not to be at odds with one another.
A series of much anticipated VAT rules aimed at providing clarification to host industries was released on December 21st. Minister of State for Finance Michael Halkitis has said the rules demonstrate that VAT's unit's commitment to addressing the interests and concerns of the private sector. And Marco City MP Greg Moss said the harm value-added tax has caused since its implementation on January 1st is indefensible. Moss, a lawyer and former chairman of the National Insurance Board, has been the most vocal government MP against VAT implementation. In an interview with the Nassau Guardian, Moss said he maintains that VAT only makes sense in an environment where one wants to protect the rich and avoid scrutiny of the elitists and politicians in our country through a proper imposition of income tax. Moss said in Freeport he's seen a decline in consumers buying non-essential products and services such as shopping at fast food restaurants. He said even his 11-year-old son has decided to save his lunch money instead of buying excess items for lunch. Some Bahamians have expressed concern over the new tax and accused some businesses of price gouging. The Ministry of Finance has warned consumers to be vigilant and report any abuses. Well, Atlanta's President George Marcantonys says the Bahamas does not need to expand its gaming industry beyond what is currently being offered. He says the focus should not be on revolutionizing the industry, but rather to maintain its competitive edge. Simone Davis tells us more.
Marcantonys says he understands that the passing of the gaming bill and regulations were not intended to produce a major impact right away, but to bring the gaming industry in the Bahamas on the same level as competitors in the North American region.
Passing of these gaming regulations, as I've mentioned before, was really just to keep the casinos in the Bahamas competitive with what's happening in the North American region. We actually were not competitive, and we asked for, I believe, 18 or 19 reforms. We did this as a group, all of the casino houses, namely Bimini, ourselves, and the Bahama folks. And we were pleased that the government listened to those initiatives and implemented quite a few of them. But it wasn't that it was going to produce some big impact right away. It was more to bring us level with what we're facing in Atlantic City, in Florida, and Las Vegas.
He also said the troubles facing Atlantic City with the added competition did not bode well for the expanded gaming product in the Bahamas. He said the country's gaming product is already expanding through Bahamar, so there is no need to expand it any further.
We are already increasing the gaming product just with the opening of Bahamar. As you know, Bahamar has announced that they will have 100,000 square feet of casino space. Should we be trying to expand our gaming over and above that? I'm not sure about that, and I'll tell you why, because there's huge competition in gaming in North America right now. The casinos, Massachusetts has just legalized gaming. 3 casino houses have been announced for there. We hear Governor Christie in New Jersey saying that they will open some new casino license, give some new casino licenses perhaps in northern New Jersey. You can see how Atlantic City is losing hotels. They are shutting down because of a glut of gaming.
He also said the government should focus on expanding the Bahamas' tourism product beyond capitalizing on growing gaming markets. He also said Atlantis is not interested in junkets because it is a risky business.
We're not interested in junkets. It's as simple as that. I think that's a very risky business. There may be some other properties in the Bahamas that want to go down that path. Using the words of Sir Sol Curzon at the time, I would consider that to be a slippery path. Even the junkets, that VIP junkets that were happening in Macau and Singapore over the last 5 years are now under serious regulation, and in fact, many of them have ceased operations. So junkets is not our priority. For that matter, casino is not Atlantis' priority. Casino is about 15 to 17% of our product.
Marcantonis added that he is pleased with the gaming industry in the Bahamas, and as the head of Atlantis, he prefers to remain within its regulations. Reporting for MB12 Weekend, I'm Simone Davis.